On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're in Roblin, Manitoba to take a look around town and explore a bit of the area's history. We'll see some grain elevators and the old schools, so stick around. We're taking a trip down Main Street here. The first neat thing is in the right-hand corner. That's the old co-op building. For many years it was a grocery store, but when a new one was built, well, what do you do with an old co-op? In other communities they were torn down, but in Roblin the store was renovated and is being used by Wendell Honey. In addition to the original store, a new building was built for cold storage. We're peeking inside that new building to see how it's set up. And then when we look into what was the old co-op, you can certainly see the remnants of it being a grocery store. It's new life for what could have been an empty, abandoned building, and that's just what Roblin wants: more people and more industry. Taking honey from fields like these and making it into a great product is just what the doctor ordered for this Manitoba town. Roblin's Main Street features a bank and a credit union, along with a bakery that's rumored to have the best donuts in western Manitoba. They're homemade and sure to please. A few blocks away, there's what used to be another grocery store. The empty lot beside the lumber yard was once an IGA, but it burned in January of 2012. A passerby noticed the fire in the evening, but the store couldn't be saved from the $750,000 of damage. That concrete pad in the center left with lumber on it is what's left of the store. Here it is the morning after the fire. Right next to the lumber yard is a tire shop. I spent some quality time here getting the traveling van fixed a few years back after it had a bit of an oops on a journey. Down toward the west end of Main Street is one of the things Roblin is known for. The town slogan is Jewel of the Parkland, and there's proof when you see the jewel waiting for you. We'll take a bit of a closer look here. It's a great spot for a quick photo. We're borrowing this one from someone that traveled through Roblin last summer, just wanting to see what the town had to offer. We're going to turn south here and fly right over the Roblin Health Center and Personal Care Home. It was May 1st, 1913 when Roblin was incorporated as a village. Back in 1916, the population was 389, and then in 1962 it became the town of Roblin. The population peaked here in 1976 with just under 2,000 residents. In 2015, the era of being a town ended as municipal amalgamation took hold. Hillsburg and Shell River municipalities joined with the town to create the municipality of Roblin. That's the town plus the surrounding rural area. Just up ahead is Goose Lake High School, but it's not the first school to be known as Goose Lake here. Here's the original one, back in 1912. The two-story school had a bell tower and was located west of town. Another school was built in 1920 to house grades 5 to 12, while the earlier grades remained at the first building. We're showing it as it looked in 1925. The new school was built in 1960 and known as Roblin Collegiate. It opened in late January 1961 for grades 9 to 12. The older school was used for intermediate grades until it was destroyed by fire on March 7, 1972. The current Goose Lake High School made news in January 2020 when its boiler failed and classes had to be moved to the community center. A temporary fix didn't work out too well, and in the fall of 2020, parents were complaining about the school being cold. New boilers were being delivered just before Christmas to solve the issue once and for all. We're just passing Goose Lake. There's good fishing here in the summer, and the lake is stocked. The curvy road there is Highway 83 as it passes through the southern part of Roblin on its way to the junction of Highway 5. As you've probably noticed by now, Roblin is well laid out with some very nice residential areas. It's very close to the Saskatchewan border. To the east of the city, Dauphin is about an hour away, and to the west you'll find Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Russell, Manitoba is a half hour to the south, and about 90 minutes north is Swan River. There's a lot of farming in the area, and Roblin loves to tell people about the fishing. The Duck Mountain Park is nearby. You can find some episodes about it on our channel, or you can travel just to the west and fish on Lake of the Prairies. There's camping and more at that man-made lake, which is part of the Assiniboine River. We're coming up on the two junctions of Highway 5 and 83, and here in the middle is the CN rail line. Roblin is served by the Via Rail Churchill train, so you can arrive in style to this prairie community. We mentioned the old co-op before, and on the right-hand side, here's the new one. It features a gas bar, card lock, and food store. There's a lot of parking, and you'll find a lot of semis stop in here. For the truck drivers, showers are available. So let's get to the good part. Trains! This is the Roblin Railway Station. It was added to the Registry of Historic Places in 1991. Until 2017, the station was home to the Starving Artist Cafe. A lot of people enjoyed the station through its reuse. It's in great shape now with a brand new roof and makes Roblin look perfect on the drive-through. We're crossing over Main Street here at the level crossing, and in the distance you can see the modern concrete elevator. But elevators weren't always concrete, and they weren't always out of town. This green space used to be full of them. In this May 1998 photo, you can already see the concrete elevator out of town, but in the foreground are the Manitoba Pool A and the Cargill B elevator. Here's a close-up of that Cargill elevator. The annex is covered in metal siding, but the elevator itself is still wood-painted Cargill green. Sadly, the facility was demolished just months later. Here's a beautiful shot of the two of them as the train rumbles past. See what those Canada grain cars looked like new? It's so different from what we see on trains today with the fading and rust. The Pool A elevator was closed in 1998 and torn down in August 1999. It was the last wooden elevator in Roblin. But let's flip back a few more years. Here's the original row of elevators as they stood in 1962 Roblin. We're looking south down the track, and that station is on the far right side of the photo. You can see the box cars at the one elevator to load grain long before hopper cars came into existence. If we go just a bit further back, we can even see a steam train as it operated on this track in 1954. And if you're anything like me, it's so sad to know there was once a wonderful row of elevators, and they're all gone. If you're in Roblin, you can see what a row like this looks like in real life. The Inglis elevator row is about 20 minutes south of town, and well worth the side trip. Seeing how we're talking about trains, if you're wondering about that double track, it's a passing siding. But one night as I drove through, it was also being used as a parking spot for a work train. Now I couldn't resist taking a little video to show you what those work trains look like up close. It was super fancy at night to see all the lights on this train. We'll take a quick peek at some of the industrial area right along the track. You can see the school bus garage there with a bunch of school buses, and of course a transport company here as well. I work in radio, so I have to share at least a couple famous music people from Roblin. The first is Lynn Hart. When she was 17, she won a talent contest, and the rest is history. It was 1999 when her first album was released, and Stuff That Matters was a hit song, reaching number 6 in Canada. This is a part of that video, as shown on CMT. More recently, it's Ryan Keown who's making a name for Roblin. In 2016, Ryan was the Manitoba Country Music Association Male Artist of the Year and Fans' Choice winner, and in 2017 made it a two-peat as he was awarded Fans' Choice for the second time. Like Lynn Hart, he started early. Keown was playing bars for fans by the age of 14. He won the Dauphin's Country Fest Talent Search in 1996, and his songs are now regularly played on radio stations across Canada. His hit single Best Thing approached the top 40 on both Billboard and media-based charts. We're going to head right back downtown and take a 360 view of the entire community. From this vantage point, you can see the farmland off in the distance and tell just how large Roblin really is. You can also get a good look at the lake from up here. Why, you ask, do they call the lake Goose Lake instead of Roblin Lake? Well, the community was actually called Goose Lake to begin with, and so it made sense the lake had the same name. It was 1904 when the area was renamed Roblin after the Premier of Manitoba, Rodmond Roblin. Even the first post office here was the Goose Lake Post Office, so it's not a surprise the school still has that name too. See how Highway 83 comes in from the south? If it wasn't for the lake, it would come straight through. You may not realize that when you drive it, but from the air you can see how if there was a bridge, it would be one straight road. Have you subscribed to Travels with Bill yet? We'd sure appreciate it if you would, and when you subscribe to our channel, you'll be the first to know when we post a new video. We're traveling around Manitoba and Canada, looking at interesting places like Roblin, and so very many more. So make sure you subscribe and be the first to know when we drop by a community near you. There's much more to learn about Roblin, including things like St. Vladimir's College, but we'll have to save much of that for our next episode about this Manitoba community. For now, we bid you farewell from Roblin, Manitoba. Thanks for visiting, and we'll see you next time you're traveling with Bill.